100 756 1111.
BBC Radio Kent.
24 minutes past 3, it's Friday afternoon on BBC Radio Kent. We are trying to solve the problem of Brexit. We're trying to solve it without...
Every time you say that, I try not to sing it.
Well, I understand what you mean. We want to, if we possibly can, take the politics out of this. I know it's a hugely political issue, but rather than arguing the pros and cons of whether Brexit's a good idea, a bad idea, whether we should remain, whether we should have a second referendum, a people's vote, whatever.
They're conversations for another day.
We've got 6 months left, and the Prime Minister's made it quite clear what her red lines are. So how do we solve what is the biggest problem of our times? Now, Jason J. Hunter is a former international trade negotiator. Jason, bear with me. I'll come back to you in just a moment. Andy is a listener from Margate who called. Now, Andy, what exactly are you proposing as a solution?
Well, I think I don't want to propose a solution, but I think the only solution, and I think Theresa May probably knows this, is that there will be a no deal. Now, that's not a solution, I know. It's not ideal. It seems obvious that that's going to happen because she's just said on the news just now that this situation has now prompted an impasse.
Yeah,
that's what she said. The word she's just used, literally within the last hour, is that this is now an impasse. In other words, we can't get over it. But she's prompted that impasse in the Chequers deal. So the Chequers deal is so bad that now she's in effect put it to Europe. Europe has thrown it out, and she said, "Oh, well, if you can't have that, it's an impasse." Well,
as Jason's just said, though, that no deal is even worse. So how do we square the problem?
Well, no deal is even worse than what?
No deal is worse than. It's the least appealing of all alternatives, I guess. Really, Jason.
Well, that's like saying
we asked the question.
The worst deal in the world. We all know that.
Sorry, Andy.
Sorry, go on, Jason.
We when we were in Brussels this week on Tuesday, we asked specifically, what does a no deal mean? What does it mean if we don't get a signed withdrawal agreement? And we got the same answer from all of them. The people we were talking to didn't know who we were meeting in the other meetings. And we got exactly the same words. They said no withdrawal agreement means everything stops. And I said, what do you mean? And they said everything stops.
That
all of
sounds
your
like a threat to me.
Peace.
So do we mean, when you say everything stops, hold on guys, when you say everything stops, do we mean all of a sudden on the 30th of March, lorries are going to stop turning up at Dover? All of a sudden, all of our planes that are trying to fly into Europe are not going to be able to take off. They're not going to be able to land. Is that what you mean by everything stops?
I asked them exactly that question. And they said, yeah, exactly. Planes flying into EU airspace will...
Andy, hold on. Let Jason finish.
Hold on a second. Can you hold on 1 second, please, Andy? Listen, what it means, what no withdrawal agreement means, is all 750 of the treaties that we have with the European Union stop immediately 11:01 p.m. UK time on the 29th of March. That means that aeroplanes will be turned out of EU airspace. Ships that are going across the channel and ferries that are going into ports, when they ring up and try and get a pilot boat to come out to guide them in, they won't go out. The Eurostar train won't be granted a platform at train stations in Paris and Brussels. Everything stops.
So, okay, right, let's bring Andy back in. Andy, if that's the case... Go on.
Haven't we heard them say stuff before? Isn't this part of the negotiation to say stuff like this? I mean...
No, it's not.
These are
the rules.
These are
the rules. When you say that's the rules, I understand. But so it works the other way, though. So what you're saying is they're not going to sell all the goods that they sell, and the income stream that they're getting from the UK sales that they obviously are getting.
They are going to say,
right.
Yeah. But they're ready? They're ready for that?
They've been planning for this and preparing for it, because they said they respect the sovereign decision of the United Kingdom government. When we invoked Article 50, they said, look, we don't want you to go. We think it's a pretty stupid thing to do. But if you insist on going, then we'll prepare for you leaving. And they are absolutely prepared for us to leave. The UK, in comparison to what they've done over there, we've prepared about 5% of what we need to. This country is so far away from being ready because the government don't understand what's going on. They haven't bothered to figure it out, and our politicians are lying to us. When we were in Geneva, they said, look, Liam Fox, 2 years ago, our Secretary of State for International Trade, he was running around making political statements, but he could be forgiven for being misinformed or ill-informed because he just didn't know what he was talking about. He's been back and forward to the same place we were 8 times in the last 2 years, and yet he's now saying the same things he was saying 2 years ago, but he just knows categorically they're not true. We've got teams of civil servants from CIC, teams of civil servants from DexEU, almost living in Geneva, asking questions. And they said, these guys are kids, they're all straight out of university, like 32 years old, and they don't know what they're doing. They're asking the most basic questions. And the fact is, the UK government doesn't know what they're doing. And if that doesn't scare you, when she runs her mouth off saying, we'll give you an impasse, we'll give you an ultimatum, it's our deal or no deal, she hasn't got a clue. It's like Kazakhstan, their population compared to the UK's, coming to us saying, look, we want to do we demand a free trade agreement with you, but we only want it with England and Scotland, and we don't do anything with Wales and Ireland. That's Theresa May's trying to bring to the European Union. They're 7 times bigger than them in terms of population. She's going to say, look, I want you to break all your rules, split up the founding principles of the single market, which underpins the peaceful existence of 27 other countries. And she thinks she can demand that they'll break that up just because we're leaving. No way it's going to happen. I nearly slaughtered. I'm sorry.
I'm grateful you did. Jason, thank you so much for joining us on the show this afternoon. Andy as well, thank you for your call as well. If you've got thoughts on the subject, how we solve the biggest issue of our time. 0800 756 1111.
We're trying to take the politics out of it, remember. We're thinking logistics here. OK, if this is where we're at, what have we got to do to prepare? What ideas have you got which could make this work? Peter's been in touch on the text. He says, make Dover a car and foot passenger port using an X-ray drive-through like the airports. No lorries, he says. We should only accept containers at other ports, only to be picked up by British lorries, keeping foreign traffic off the roads, making more employment for our lorries. Peter says, do you agree? Will that solve the problem, or will we then potentially end up with a bit of a work shortage? I don't know.